Good morning, children. Hope you all are safe. Today, we are going to do a quick recap about last week's lesson, that is control structures. We saw about four type of control structures: iterative, alternative, jump statement, and then sequence statement. Sequence is executed in order, alternative, and then next to alternative it is an iterative. They are conditional statement, and last one is the jump statement. Thank you. Good morning, children. Today in computer science we are going to see about Python functions. So let's see, there are four types of functions. Let's see them one by one in today's class and in the next class. Okay, so what is called as Python functions? So if we are going to run the program one by one, or if we are going to use some specific stuff inside a definition, that is called as the Python functions. Okay, so let's see them in detail now. What are called as Python functions? Okay, functions are named block of code that are designed to do a specific job. When you want to perform a particular task that you have defined in a function, you call the name of a function responsible for it. We call the name of the function responsible for it. Okay. And then next we are going to see about the main advantages of function. Okay, it avoids the repetition and makes high degree of code reusing. So you can reuse the code again and again. So that is called as the function advantage. It provides better modularity for your application. So what is called as modularity? When you develop an application and run it in different platforms, it can be used. So that is called as better modularity. So functions are nothing but a group of related statements that perform a specific task. Okay, that is called as the function. Now let's get into the next thing. What is the next thing we are going to see here? What are the functions we saw now? And now types of functions. So first is user defined function, built-in function, lambda function, recursive function. We will see them one by one now. Okay, so now what is user defined function? When the user is defining the function by themselves, that is called as user defined function. Let's see them in detail. Okay, so do you see DEF is used here? This DEF is a function which is used for user defined function. Whenever we are using def A, def B, def C, this def is called as user defined because the system defines by itself or the user defined by itself. So that is called as user defined function. Okay. So next we are getting into detail about what is user defined functions. Now defining a function. Let's see how to define a function. Function must be defined to create and use certain functionality. They are built-in functions that comes with the language Python. For instance, if you are going to print a function, I have already told in the last class how to print a function. Input function is used for getting the input and print function is used for getting the output. Now let's see the steps one by one. The first step is function block begin with the keyword def. So I already told def, followed by the function name. You can give def, for example, 12e in the parenthesis. So 12e will be one kind of a function. And then what is the next thing we are going to see here? Any input parameters or arguments should be placed within parenthesis. Whatever arguments we place, that should be placed within the parenthesis. The code block always comes after the colon. So whenever we give a colon, the block comes after the colon. The statement return. So what is return? If we are returning a value, then the return statement is used. See, for example, a return with no argument is same as the return none. For example, if we are passing int, I am passing the int statement. If I am using int, then what will happen? The return value would be int. If I am not passing any value, what will happen? The return value is 0. There is no return value. That is defining the functions. Next to defining the functions, we will get into the next topic, that is called as syntax. So in Python, students, everything will have a syntax and as well as an example. Without syntax and example, we cannot proceed further with the programming concept. Okay. So now def function name, parameter 1, parameter 2. Block of statement. Whatever statements you want to execute, that is block of statements. Return and then expression. If you want to give an expression, you can give an expression or you can give none. And then now let's see what is a block. What is a block? A block is one or more lines of code grouped together so that they are treated as one big sequence of statements. While execution. In Python, statements in a block are written with an indentation. Recall what we learned in indentation 2 weeks back. What is indentation? Leaving space between each and every code is called as the indentation. Usually a block begins when a line is indented by 4 spaces. So 4 spaces. And all the statements of the block should be same intent level. For example, if you are writing a for loop, all the for loop should be in the same indentation level. This is called as block. I repeat, block is one or more lines of code grouped together so that they are treated as one big sequence. Okay, good. So now next we move with nested block. We saw an example earlier for nested block. If a for loop or a while loop or if loop, if they are mixed and used inside a program, they are called as a nested block. So simple. If you are using more than 1 or 2 loops in a same, that is called as a nested block. A block within a block is called as a nested block. So you have an example here, value, return value. If you want to give a value, you will get a return value. If there is no return value, it will be returned as 0. This is the syntax. And next to syntax, we get into the next thing, advantages. So what are the advantages? Function helps us to divide program into modules. Modules, what are modules? It's a small set of programs. So for example, you have a 5 GB of data. For example, you have 5 GB of data, and when you have 5 GB of data, you can split it into 2 plus 2 plus 1. So you can split it into 2 plus 2 plus 1. This is how the modules are created. The next thing is it implement code reuse. You can use the code again and again. Function allow us to change functionality easily, and different programmers can work on different function. You can use different programs and it can be used on different functions. These are the advantages of user defined function. Now we are going to see how to call a function. What is calling a function? For example, to call the hello function, when you call the hello function, the program displayed as below. See, output would be hello Python. Let's see what is the coding return for this. Here, def hello. Def is a function for user defined. Print hello Python inside the codes, and you're returning a value, and then the print hello is printed. What happens? The print hello will be printed. Print hello Python, return print hello will be printed. What are you doing here? You are calling the function. Here hello Python is displayed, and here return is there. Print hello. This print hello is the calling of a function. because this def hello is a function and this too is being called. So this is calling a function in Python. Okay, and next to calling a Python function in a Python, we are getting into parameters. Before getting into parameters, children, tell me what are the parameters that you learnt in C and C++ earlier? Yes, call by value, call by reference. It's called by value, that is why it is called as call by value, and call by reference, it's called as call by reference. We use some operators or syntax to call them. Now let's get into it. What is called as call by value and call by reference in passing parameters? Okay, so now the def function is used here. Let's see as parameters while defining functions. The parameters that you place in the parenthesis will be used by the function itself. That is called as passing parameters. Let's see an example. So w is equal to 3, h is equal to 5. We are going to find an area. So w into h would be the area, as you all know. So return w into h. Asterisk symbol is used for combining the statements or do the multiplication process here. Okay, so print area 3, 5. So here what is happening? Here def function name is given, parameters is w and h, and separated by the comma. This is called as passing parameters. This w and h is called as what? The w and the h is called as, yes, parameters. They are passing the parameters inside the function to get the output. There are various types of parameters that can be passed inside to calculate a function. Okay, now let's get into the next topic. What is the next topic? We are going to see about function arguments. So arguments are nothing, they are called as parameters, and there are 4 types. First one is the required argument, and second one is the keyword argument, third one is the default argument, and last one is the variable length argument. We are going to see that one by one. So what is required argument? Let's see it. Required argument is nothing but if you want to specify something. See, for example, required arguments or arguments passed to a function in a correct positional order. What is the positional order? It is the sequence of statements. The number of arguments should match exactly with the function definition. For example, if you are passing 2 values should be there in the function. You cannot pass 2 values and use 1 value in the function. That is not called as required arguments. Whatever is required for the function, it has to be decided and then it has to be fed in the program. That is called as required arguments. See this example here. Def string and then print example required arguments, print string return. What will happen? If we go through the program clearly, it will throw us an error statement. Why? Let's see. When the above code is executed, this produces the following error. File require argument line 10 in module, print string type error, print string missing one required positional argument. Why it is missing? str. Now if we are going to use print string instead of str, what will happen? We will get the following output. So example required argument is printed, that is inside print, and here print str is printed. That is wrong. What should be printed? Print str is wrong. What is the correct? Instead of print, here we have to use print string. Clear? When we use print string, what happens? Whatever is given in the input, the print string will be printed. So that is called as example required arguments is printed over there, and welcome print string will be printed. Instead of print string in the above code, if we use print string welcome, then the output becomes like this. Clear? Print string str, Instead of print string str, what we are going to use? We are going to use print string welcome. So the welcome will be printed because we told two arguments is needed. One is example and one is welcome. This is called as required arguments. And next we get into the default arguments. So what is called as default arguments? Whatever is there in default by the Python programming, that will be displayed. See, print info def, print info name salary. Name is not given here. It takes an automatic name generated over there. So that's so simple. So whatever is a default argument in Python, that value will be printed. Like for example, money or whatever, you can replace it here. And then salary is 3,500. It's given here. The salary is given here. It's printed. And then the name is not given here. So it takes a default value. So that is called as default arguments. And what is the next function we saw? Yes, keyword arguments. So what are keyword arguments? Keyword arguments will invoke the function after the parameters are recognized by the parameter names. The value of the keyword argument is matched with the parameter name and so on. Let's see an example here. But they are not in order. If they are matched, they will just go further with the keyword arguments. Def is a syntax. Print data. This can be changed. And then name. You are printing name. Example 1 keyword argument. Print name. And then return. Here print data. Now you can call the print data function over here. That is called as XII. And now what will happen? The above code is executed. It produces the following output. Example 1 keyword arguments. Example Sean. This is how the keyword argument will invoke the function after the parameters are recognized by their parameter name. With the help of the name, they recognize it. And what is the next argument? Yes, the next argument is the variable length argument. What is variable length argument? In some instance, you might need to pass more arguments that you have already specified. For example, if I am giving 3 and suddenly I want to use 4, then I go for variable length argument. How it is defined, let's see. Def sum x, y, z. So print sum of 3 numbers x, y, z and sum. We are going to find the sum. I have given only x, y, z, but see how many I have given? More than 3. So it will take some time. Type error, what happens? Sum takes 3 position but 5 were given. That is called as variable length. More than the specified arguments can be given. That is called as variable length argument. Here 3 values are passed. Here 5 inputs are given. Okay, now let's get into the example for variable length arguments. Variable length arguments. Here same thing, the arguments are passed, the function body and return statement. Print numbers. For n in numbers they are using for loop. Print n, return. Now what happens? Printing 2 values. Print numbers 1, 2 is printed. And printing 3 values 10, 20 and then 30. Here 1 and 2 output is 10, 20 and then 30. You can also replace the data and replace the print name with your own names and then get it clarified. So if we are going to declare more than 2 or 3, so what is given? For example, 2 is given and you are going to execute 5. So you go for what arguments? Yes, variable length arguments. Hope you understood today's lesson, children. Let me just do a quick recall what we learned. So we learned about Python functions. So what are the type of Python functions we learned? Yes, correct. And then what did we see inside it? Okay, keyword arguments, default arguments, required arguments and variable length argument. Today in detail we saw about what function? Yes, user defined function. And remember the def, children. Def is mainly used for all type of functions in user defined to declare it. And then you can pass the parameters and you can call a function or you can pass the values. Everything can be done with the def function, user defined function. Go through the lesson and take up your test. Thank you, children. Stay safe. Have a great day.